Good morning, guys. Welcome in. How are you all doing? Welcome in. It is a beautiful Monday. It is the first trading day of November. Welcome in. How is everybody doing? Somebody said, "Are you okay, brother?" Yes, I'm just on mute for the first few minutes while I'm getting everything posted. Yes. Who won the giveaway? Who won the giveaway? I'm going to post it in a second. I've been doing well. I had a nice weekend, a nice relaxing weekend. You guys probably already know who won the giveaway. Joya Johnson. That was actually one of the giveaway winners. Joya Johnson, welcome in. That is wow. That is very kind of you. Joya Johnson just gave you guys back a 20 bucker for the next giveaway. Yes, we'll be doing another giveaway in November, guys. Another one in November and another one in December. So 2 more giveaways for this year. Welcome in, guys. Joya Johnson was one of the giveaway winners. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show it briefly here just so we start the stream. It looks like only one person has not redeemed the giveaway yet. And if this person doesn't redeem it, I'm going to ask you guys if we should do it for this month or if we should just carry it into November. It's up to you what you want to do. But right now, the only person who has not redeemed the giveaway is number 7, Matt D. That's the only one. Has not reached out to me yet, but every other person so far has redeemed it. If you guys are in the chat, is there anyone in the chat besides Joya? Joya, I know Joya's here. Anyone else in the chat who won the giveaway? I see Rick. There's Rick. Rick the Ruler's here. So it looks like we do have some of the winners here in the stream. All right, so someone Spliff said that's his real name. Yeah, Spliff. Yeah, Spliff. All right, so guys, welcome in. I hope everyone is ready to dive into it. We have a lot to go over this morning. It's a new week. It's a new month. There are a lot of things happening. We have a lot to go over. Don't feel upset if you didn't win. That's how giveaways work. You're not going to win every time. We'll do another giveaway in November and December, right? So let's dive into it. No Muppetry today. Yes, no Muppetry today. All right. Welcome in. So yesterday, or actually Friday session, it was all about the 6,900 level ES. Kenneth, you're number 2. Did you get the giveaway, Kenneth? Kenneth, did you get paid out yet? Kenneth, did you get paid out yet? Yes, Kenneth, you know what? You're right. I don't think I ever paid you out. Send me a message, Kenneth, on IG and make sure that gets taken care of because you're absolutely right. I don't think I did not. I don't think you did not. Okay, so send me a message on IG. Kenneth, do that today if you can, before today. Just send me a message on Instagram or Discord, and I'll take care of that before we start trading. Right, so guys, spot chart. We're going to talk today about what happened yesterday, or rather on Friday, the previous session here on SPY. A big hint, it was basically just a slow consolidation day, but we rejected off 6,900 level ES, right? So this was the major level, was 6,900 ES. We failed off of it, right? There was some retest shorts you could have taken that day, but the whole summary of this session was basically us failing under this level for the downside move. Okay, so we're going to talk about that today and what it means for us going into our Monday morning, right? We're going to go over the Qs chart. We'll talk about the QQQ level. This is the big level here in Qs. You guys know what I'm going to say here. It's all about the 635s today. So we'll talk about that in a bit. We'll go over Nvidia. Nvidia is strong. And the issue right now is the semis are bull flagging. Okay, across the board, we are seeing semi bull flags. We're seeing Nvidia bull flag. We're seeing AMD bull flag. We're seeing the SMH bull flag. It's a very clear flag happening here on the semiconductor sector. And for that reason, it leads the question of, do we see upside today on semis? Do we see upside into Tuesday and Wednesday on semis because of the bull flags, but also because of the earnings on Nvidia and AMD, or actually just on AMD, not Nvidia. Okay, we have Qualcomm as well. QCOM also really strong in the pre-market, so we'll talk about that chart as well today. So a lot to go over today, mostly in the chip side. We're also going to go over some things today on other names. For example, Amazon. We'll talk about Amazon, that 241 level. We'll talk about Apple, the Apple 272 level, and we'll go over a few more takers you guys are watching. So what I want to do, guys, is I want to dive right into our econ data, earnings reports, and then we're going to go into our charts today, right? So let's jump out of this. Big head Brett. Yes, big head Brett. Let me make this a bit more manageable. There we go. Much better. Okay. So thank you for reminding me, by the way. You guys got to make sure to always remind me because I will forget. Let's make this a bit smaller and let's dive into it. So for today's session here on the econ docket, okay, it is a hectic schedule, right? But we are entering day 34 of the government shutdown. We are almost at the previous record for the number of consecutive government shutdown days. I believe the record is 37. So by Thursday, I think Thursday this week, we'll be breaking that record. Okay, so that's a big thing that that probably is happening. And how does that impact our econ data? Well, it impacts our econ data because we have a lot of things happening this morning. Okay, so we have PMI manufacturing, we have ISM manufacturing, we have construction spending at 10 o'clock. And truthfully, I don't know if this gets released or not. I have no idea. Some things seem to be getting released, some things aren't getting released. So obviously, just go in with the expectations that there is data at 9:45, there is data at 10 o'clock, but I just don't know if it's true. Okay, so be aware of that going into our Monday morning. Big data off the get-go. Tomorrow, we have JOLTS at 10 o'clock. That is what I'm seeing on the docket. JOLTS at 10 o'clock tomorrow. That's the biggest data release for the entire week. And then Wednesday, we have ADP, which is also big. And then we have some other data on Wednesday's session. There are I don't like to bring rumors into the pre-markets, but sometimes I'll discuss this with you guys because if I see something that appears to be semi-credible, I will talk about it. But there are rumors that by Wednesday or by Thursday, so really you consider that by Thursday, that the government will be reopening. Okay, so that's kind of what people are saying. They're saying that by Thursday, they're looking to get a resolution. So I would expect us to go back into a normal kind of econ-driven market by Thursday session, right? But don't quote me in that one. That is pure rumor. It's hard to gauge how credible that is, right? All right, on the earnings docket for the session, obviously, it's pretty big, right? We have some big things happening, including we have AMD, we have Palantir, we have Uber, right? Some big things happening in this week ahead of us. The big thing for today's session, though, is to understand we have Palantir in the after hours, PLTR. We have HIMS in the after hours. And we also have in the Tuesday pre-market, we have Uber, Shopify, Spotify. So some big names, and Pfizer as well. So some big names in the after hours today, some big names in the pre-market today. And then obviously AMD, SMCI in the after hours on Tuesday session. Okay, and then Robinhood on Wednesday. And then we have some other small names on Thursday and Friday. Now, the one thing you're going to kind of realize here is these are all small cap names, right? So small cap names appear to be reporting right now. And if you are a small cap trader, if you're a small account trader, this is a week where you're probably going to get a lot of volatility. Okay, so be careful of that going into our session ahead of us, right? That being said, guys, let's dive into our charts today. What I want to do is I want to spend the majority of our time talking about SPY. Before that, let me get some hydration and we'll jump into it. Is Beyond earnings on the docket? Did anyone see Beyond? Is BYND here? Someone said Beyond earnings. It is there. You see it? I see it. Little sneaky Beyond. Little sneaky Beyond that we're gonna summon. We're gonna summon Mike in here if we talk about Beyond. All right. Yeah. So we have Beyond Meat in the after hours and Tuesday session. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to talk about our charts here on SPY, and I want to get a recap of what's going on here. Let's do a larger time frame picture here, and then we'll do a shorter time frame picture here. Okay. So on the larger time frame picture, okay, you have basically a uptrend here, an upside move, followed by consolidation. And this is simply just a bull flag, okay? So we know that right now, right? This is simply a bull flag. And you know that when you have bull flags, you can do one of two things with a bull flag, right? You could look for rejections at the highs of that bull flag, right, for downside moves. Or you could long it off demand for an upside move. Now, this is a horrible drawing, and I'm probably going to lose 200 viewers because I drew like this. But the point that I'm trying to say is this is still a bull flag in the 1 hour time frame, okay? And I think that we can't confuse that right now. Even though we want the market to pull back, it is simply just a bull flag on larger time frames. Even the 4 hour time frame, it's a bull flag, okay? So 4 hour and 1 hour appear to be pointing to more upside, right? But on the 15-minute time frame, you can see here that we had some signs of rejection on our Friday session. And the signs of rejection occurred around that 685 level on SPY. You guys saw that we turned a series of highs and lows and highs into a high, right? We turned this into a rejection point on our Friday session. Now, we took this trade. This was a trade that we had taken on our Friday pre-market session. We spoke about the 6900 level ES failure. We said watch a little bit of a pop and fade under this level for a downside move. So if you guys recall, we actually shorted right here for the downside play into there. We walked away for a nice Friday session. But the thing is that this was cute, right? This was a nice, cute trade. It was very cute, right? But the issue right now is we're back at the same level, and we know this is what's going to happen today. We know that if we can clear back above 6900 level ES, which would be 685 in SPY, that we're going to rip higher into the all-time highs. That's just simply what it is. Unfortunately, or fortunately, if you are a bull, this is what's going to happen, right? So 69, for some reason, I have a hard time saying level. 6900 ES is your major inflection point going into our Monday morning. If we can clear above this level of resistance, we're going to go higher into the 690s because that is what the larger timeframes are telling us. Now, if we continue to see us fail here at the 6900 level ES or the 685 equivalent on SPY, then we're going to go back lower and do the same thing we did into our Friday session and go back into 678s here on SPY. So everything that happens today is basically the same thing as what it was yesterday, or really into a previous day. When I say yesterday, Monday, I mean the previous session, right? So the previous session, obviously Friday, that being the 6900 level ES was your failure point. In today's session, it's still your failure point. We can't go long until we see us clear back above this level. And if we do, then we can get sustained upside back into 680, 660, which would be the highs of our Friday pre-market, and then back into the previous all-time highs, which was 689.7 here on the SPY chart, okay? But again, if we fail here, then we're going back down lower into the gap fill level of 678, and this is a bounce area, and this is a bounce area today here on SPY. So that's what I'm seeing going into my Monday morning, right? I'm seeing bounce levels down below, I'm seeing resistance back above, and if we can clear that resistance, then larger timeframes indicate upside back in all-time highs. That's what I'm seeing here on the pre-market session, okay? On the ES chart, it's fundamentally the same thing, right? It's the same chart, just a little bit of some larger numbers, okay? The one thing I'll say here is you got the gap fill. Remember we said, guys, watch the gap fill level. The gap fill level was back under 68, 66, and you guys saw the gap fill occur back into 68.40s on our Friday session. Earlier in the market open, we took the short, right? So if you guys recall, there was some shorts to be taken at market open. This was the short we spoke about. Go back to our pre-market stream on our Friday morning. We said if the one thing I'd be watching for is this, I'd be watching to see, can we hold this level? If so, upside, or if we fail this level, if so, downside. And that's exactly what happened on our Friday session. We took a short right over here at the 68.97s. Me, Mike, and Rav all took the same exact trade because, again, this was just a beautiful failure of this 6900 level here. And obviously, it resulted in downside into close, but it resulted in downside into a demand zone. Okay, this was a big demand zone that we tapped down below, and now we are bidding it back up into our Monday morning. Now, here's the issue, right? The issue is we're back trading at the same level. The question is this: what do we do here today? This is everything that happens today is defined by whether or not we are above or below this dotted line. Okay, if we are above the dotted line, then upside back into the 69.20s. And then back above that level, we go back into 69.44, okay? The one thing I will argue, though, is I'll say this. This level here at 69.20 appears to be more important than we are saying because on the SPY chart, it doesn't appear to be so important because if you look here for a second, just take a gander, right? Look at this level here on the ES chart. This level here in the ES chart is the technical pre-market high of that Friday session. But again, it is the high of that session. And it's also the high of that Monday, October 27 session. And it's also the level you can see on Tuesday where you see some reactions there. And then obviously some nothingness over here on Wednesday and Thursday. But again, there are some reactions there at 6920. Now, if you go to SPY chart, we didn't even talk about that really. In fact, it's not even a level on our chart. And that's why we watch the ES, because sometimes there are things that we miss on the ES or that we miss on SPY or vice versa. It doesn't matter. But here, the story is we are missing something here, right? Above 685 in SPY, it's not free and clear. It's not a clear sailboat to 690 on SPY. We have some resistance above us. and that comes in around the 686.50s. So what you have to do this morning is chart that in. Okay, so 686.5 is your next leg of resistance. If we clear a back above the 685s, we should go into here. But again, this is an area where there is some failure points here. So keep that on the back burner going into our Monday morning session. Okay. That being said, guys, what I want to do is I want to move on now to the QQQ chart here on Qs. You can see here, it's not as clear to me, right? I have much more clarity today on the ES and SPY chart. On QQQ, on our Friday session, it was all about the 637s. We failed 637 supply. You can see we kind of failed it in the pre-market session. And then we saw a downside into our close on Friday, and then we closed into the Thursday lows rather. And then obviously here on our Monday morning, we're opening up right in the middle of that range. My levels are as follows here on the QQQ. You can see here that I have some smaller intraday levels here, but the big level to discuss here is I have a demand. What am I doing here? Trying to delete this level here. Trying to delete this level right there, 630 and 634. My big level down below is still untouched. My 623 is still untouched here on QQQ, which means what? Which means that you technically have had the SPY gap fill, but QQQ not gap fill. If QQQ does gap fill back into demand here, I'm still looking for this long side entry here at the 623s. So if we do pull back to 623, I'm looking for longs at 623 for an upside move, okay? That's my main bounce area for today's session. But of course, do I think that's going to happen? Probably not, right? Just given the strength of Qs this morning, given the strength of semis, it's possible that we just hold and consolidate before our AMD earnings. You can see here we have another bull flag. The question is this: what wins the battle? Okay, is it the larger time frame hourly bull flags, or is it the 15-minute time frame rejections? I don't know yet, right? And you may think the simple answer is a larger time frame, but we don't really know until it happens, right? So for this morning, yes, you can watch the larger time frame bull flags, but we have to see what happens today here in ES chart, particularly ES, this level right here, the dotted level. If we are above, upside; if you're below, downside. Keep this on the major watch going into our Monday morning, okay? Giving you guys kind of the larger picture and the smaller time frame picture, because I want you guys to be aware of every scenario that can happen here going into our week ahead of us, okay? That being said, what I want to do now is I want to discuss the one reason why the market's holding up, right? And you can probably guess it's due to the fact that we have our chip names holding. And one of the main watches this morning on this week is going to be AMD. Okay, so AMD is a really incredible stock. Now, the one caveat with this stock is that we do have earnings tomorrow. Okay, so before I lose my voice, let me get some water. And let's dive into AMD. On the AMD chart, you could see that essentially what happened on our Friday session was we tapped demand down below, and you can very clearly see a strong bullish consolidation here. We have a strong bullish consolidation here that we've been maintaining for a few days in a row now. And the question simply is just this: do we break above 260? If we clear the 260s, I argue we get the bull flag move back into the upper 270s. This is what I'm seeing here on the QQQ chart. Sorry, the AMD chart. Wow, then the AMD chart is the fact that it's still consolidating bullish. If we can clear 260, upside back in highs. That's scenario number one. Scenario number two is post earnings, we watch the 243 demand bounce. If we clear back on our 253, we get downside back into 243, which would be giving up this whole upside move over here. But then at this demand zone at 243, I'm looking for longs. Why am I looking for longs? Because I have a triple top high here right before a breakout. It's been untested, and this is my main watch for demand bounce. So I'm watching three scenarios going into my AMD earnings. I'm watching 260 build. If that happens, we're going to rip an all-time highs. Very simply, 268 plus. If we fail below 253, we are going to go fill the big low volume upside move back into the 243s, which I can either short for a downside move, or I could just wait for demand and catch a demand bounce here at 243. So again, you may think this scenario tree is pretty confusing, but it's not that confusing, right? It is demand down below at 243, we can long demand, or it's short the 253 for the move back into demand. That's all I'm doing going into my AMD earnings. But again, this chart is strong, it's bull flagging, and it's one of the reasons why the market's so strong going into our Monday morning. And again, if you see the stock flip prior to earnings, then you know what that's going to do to the overall market, okay? Nvidia's chart. On Nvidia, right, it's the same deal here, right? And this is the problem. I'll tell you this is the problem. The problem is Nvidia's chart is bull flagging in an island, right? The only way for me to say this is the most simple way for me to say this is Nvidia is bull flagging in an island, no, or on an island rather, right? So what do I mean by that? I mean basically the stock has rallied higher to areas where no one wants to long it anymore, and then it consolidated for a while, and it consolidated over demand, but in no view is this consolidation, this price action here considered bearish. So we're all waiting for this demand down below, the 195s for a demand bounce. That's my main long spot, 195. But the problem is that we are consolidating so strong now above the 20150s that you can get a strong idea that this is probably going to rip and rally back into the all-time highs again for the bull flag play. So it's hard to want to go long on this island, and the island is here. This is the island, right? The island is an island because we have not pulled back to our demand zone below, but this is still bullish, right? We can't change the fact that this is still a bullish consolidation over highs. So how would I trade this going into my week ahead of us? Well, there's a few ways I would trade this. One is I would trade the bull flag. Okay, so if I see today that there's strong price action on Nvidia, I can probably trade the long side above 208. Right? You see that the highs of our session prior, where's the highs of our session prior? Highs of our session prior is around 208. So if I see us clear 208, I can look for some sneaky long trades back into 209 and back into 212. That's the first thing I can do here. Or number two is I can do something that's going to save me a lot of stress, right? And what that's going to be is I press the plus icon over here, right? Bam, add alert NVIDIA 195.25, and I can wait for that. Right? That's just what it is, right? Do I want to wait for demand here, my macro level of demand here down below for the big demand test, or do I want to trade the larger time frame bull flag? And I'm not saying one's right, the other is wrong, right? They're both right. They're both very clearly right. This is still a very bullish chart for upside moves, but we don't know if it's going to require that 195 pullback first. So again, trade both scenarios. Look for longs above 208. If we do clear 208, 209, and 212 being the targets. But if we do pull back today, or post AMD earnings rather, right? We break under 20150. Yes, we see a downside move, but only as far back as our 195s, because 195 is our clear level of demand below. So again, just trying to give you guys the larger time frame pictures and the shorter time frame pictures, but that's how I would trade the stock going into my week ahead of us. And you may argue though that you may want to see AMD earnings before this happens, right? This may consolidate today, and that consolidation is not necessarily a bad thing. I think post AMD earnings, we'll get more clarity on chip names, right? Let's move on. Let's go over Qualcomm, QComm. So Qualcomm also really bullish this morning too, and I don't usually watch Qualcomm, but today I actually am. I'm watching a 183 reclaim on Qualcomm. The reason why is because you can see we have consolidation highs here on that Wednesday session. We had highs here at Friday, right? And we are basically seeing this. We're seeing a big upside move followed by a bullish consolidation under 183s. And this again would be just a larger time frame bull flag. So if we can clear 183, I'm watching for a sustained move into 188 and 196. I know it's far-fetched, but it's not that far-fetched because look at what's going on here, right? This is a big parabolic upside move on, there's earnings, okay? The big E, right? The big E is still looming down below. How did I miss that? Did I miss this on the earnings docket? What the hell what am I doing over here? No one stopped me. Qualcomm Wednesday. Never mind. Not top watch anymore. This was my top watch. I rescind that statement. It was my top watch until I just saw the big E. For some reason, I thought it already reported earnings, but it has not, right? It has not. This was a AI deal, right? So do not worry about that. I still would keep the 183 in the back burner, but this can no longer be top watch. So unfortunately, this has to be taken away from our top watch. But again, 183 reclaims for upside. It's still bullish. Let's not take away from that. Let's not take away from the fact that as long as it holds 183, bullish upside back in 188. Okay, that's what I'm seeing here on the Qualcomm stock. Let's go over a few more guys. Let's go over SMH. So on the SMH stock, you can see here, very clear picture. It's resemblant of the overall semis that we've seen so far. Nothing in this sector is different, right? Look at every single semiconductor name. The same thing is happening. It's a 1 hour time frame bull flag. The question is, does it result in upside, right? So right now, semis appear to be doing that, right? You have a level here at 368.50. If it can clear that Friday's highs, then obviously upside back in all-time highs here on this chart. So keep that in the back burner going into our chart, right? Let's move on, guys. Let's go over Amazon. Amazon 241 bounce still valid, right? So this is still a pullback long that I'm watching today. Is this 241 pullback long? I'm actually also watching 239 as a side watch. So you can see 239 as a side watch today. But I'm watching for both areas going into my Monday morning. I'm watching for pullback long spot number 1, 241, and pullback long spot number 2, 239. The reason why is we have a big, beautiful bullish earnings on Friday session. We had a consolidation on or Thursday and Friday, consolidation session on Friday. And today, going into our Monday, Tuesday mornings, I'm looking to see if we can get a pullback long into demand, right? Look for a pullback long here and a retracement higher back into all-time highs. So keep that in the back burner, guys. Amazon is a top watch, and this is a name that does not have earnings, so we can watch this without being surprised about the big E, right? The big E being earnings, okay? So, okay. What are you doing right now? Hey, don't do that. Right? Don't do that. Don't go that way. Do not do that. What's going on here? All right. All right. Never mind. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a joke. What the hell is going on here? What the hell is going on here? Did they not want us to have any names to watch this morning? Did they not want us to have any names to watch? I think that they do not want us to trade today. What the hell is going on here? Why are you doing this? Must be news, right? Amazon reacting to the news. Maybe Bezos is watching the live stream this morning. I don't know. All right, let's move on. Let's go over a few names. Tesla. So Tesla is consolidating, and it looks like shit. Okay. Now I'm saying this because I tend to have the Kramer effect on Tesla. Okay, and yeah, I'm gonna say it looks like shit, and I'm gonna try to trade this, but I'm gonna say it looks like shit. So let's go forward with that statement. It looks terrible, right? We have a big beautiful breakout. We had a failure on our Friday session, and then we reclaimed and ripped on our Friday close. Now today's session, it's consolidating, right? This is in a consolidated range here between the 450s and the 470s. Now I don't really have a bias right now as long as we are in the middle of this range, because here's the problem, right? I have big supply above us and big demand below us. Now, I would argue and I would lean towards this going into all-time, not going into 470s, not all-time highs, into 470s here on Tesla, but I just don't have that much clarity right now. So that's why I'm saying it looks a little shitty, right? But again, let's see what happens here going into a Monday morning. If it can clear 460 on a 460 build, then perhaps there is an upside trade here. So keep this on the side watch. 460 for a build. If you do build the 460s, look for upside into 470 and change. Nvidia, what is Nvidia doing? I mean, yeah, this is the problem, right? The problem is we are reacting to something here in the pre-market, which is kind of taking away our bull flag setups. It's not really good for us. This is not what you want to see. Transparently, this is not what you want to see. Unless you guys are trading this in the pre-market session, it's hard to catch this right now. All right, let's go over a few more. Apple. On the Apple chart, Apple did something. Now, I will tell you guys when we have the right idea. I will tell you guys when we have the wrong idea. So what did I say on Friday about Apple, right? What did I say on Friday about Apple? I said, watch the 273 pullback long. I said that. That's what I said on the Friday session. Go back to the live stream. We were right about SPY, we were right about Amazon, about AMD. We were right about almost everything except for look at the stock. This was the exact opposite of a 272 demand hold. In fact, this turned into a rejection, right? Look at what happened here on this chart. It broke down under 272, it failed it, and we saw a sustained downside into 269 sub, right? Or even sub, I think it was even sub 269, right? Did it break? No, it didn't. Actually didn't. But it quite a decent downside move under this low here, right? And the question this morning is, are we above that 272 or below it? And this morning here, we are clearly below it. I think this is a bear side chart right now, right? And the reason why this is my top watch for shorts going into my week ahead of us is look at this. This is the TB, okay? This is the TB. This is the TB. What does TB stand for? Trap buyer, right? This is the TB. I'm going to say it now. I'm going to coin things as acronyms that make no sense, but this is the TB. It's a trap buyer scenario, right? We have all the longs trapped above the highs, and then we fell below 272. Therefore, we have a lot of people who are kind of overweight right now on this chart, right? They're overweight, they're stressing out, SPY's moving higher, right? And Apple is not, right? So my main watch going into my Monday morning for shorts is going to be, can we break down under 269? If we clear back under 269, I'm looking for downside back in 265 to continue the trap buying scenario, right? That's what I'm watching for going into my my Monday morning, right? Let's go over a few more. OpenAI signed a deal with Amazon. Yeah, yeah. This was my main watch this morning was Amazon long, Nvidia long, and Apple short. Okay, those are my three things I was watching going into my week ahead of us. I shouldn't have said it until the market opened because now we're ripping. Obviously, what I said didn't change anything. This was going to happen either way, right? The news was going to happen either way. But obviously, Amazon no longer is a watch for us anymore because it's rallying higher. You can watch maybe 260 build, but it's far from us right now. So can't really trade this going into our week, right? But let's see. Maybe we get it tomorrow. It could be tomorrow. All right. Let's go over a few more, guys. Let's go over Meta. Let's go over Meta. Meta downside as well, right? So there are some names that are weak and there are some names that are strong, and I'm trying to get that to you. I'm trying to kind of deliver that to you guys, or I'm trying to sell it to you in the fact that you can see that Meta is relatively weak. You have Apple relatively weak. You have Amazon strong. You have chips that are strong. So you have a discrepant open here on the market, okay? And here on the Meta chart, you can see that as long as we're under 678, we're structuring lower, okay? So if I see us popping to 678 today, my main focus is going to be, hey, do we get a pop and fade here for a downside move? So keep that on the back burner. Is a 678 pop and fades, okay? Let's move on. Netflix. Netflix has the stock split coming up. I talked about this, the 1,100 level here on Friday session. I said, don't shorten it level. It's probably going to hold. It held, right? And now going into our week ahead of us, right? We have the stock split coming up. I don't think it's this week, though. I think it's actually next week. So next week, we have the stock split. The Meta Man will guide you. Yes, the Meta Man will guide you. That's exactly right. I'm not trading Meta, but let Rav do that. But on this chart on Netflix, I think we should wait till post split and see what happens here. I'm actually a bit excited to trade this. I think we'll start trading Netflix, and we'll go over this more and more on the pre-market session. Guys, I think that's it for me. I'll go over one more. I'll go one more ticker. I'll do SoFi because Money Hungry asked for it. SoFi. SoFi is bullish, right? This is still a bullish name. I've been wanting to buy this, but the problem is I'm not going to get buys in this if it keeps holding, right? Look at this hold here at 28.5. As long as it's holding 28.5, upside back in the highs. If you fail below 28.5, then I'll get my downside move here back into 24, where I am looking to buy here. 24 is my buy spot. That's my B spot, right? So that's where I'm looking to get buys. But of course, it may just hold here at 28.5, which seems to be the new buy spot. So if you're looking for short-term scalps here, scalp off to 28.5 for an upside move back in the highs. That's all I'm seeing here on the SoFi chart. Guys, that's it for me today. Look, it's Monday. It's a day you probably want to get data before you execute. You don't need to be the first person in a trade. Let's take it easy, and I'll see you guys all for live trading. Have a happy and safe trading session. Bye, guys.